There it is. Well, good morning, Sycamore Creek. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, I'm Carola. I'm on staff here at Sycamore Creek, and I'm joined by my beautiful co-host, Erin, this morning.
Morning, friends. Good to see you.
Yeah. All right, technology, right? It's the best, except for when it's not. And then it's A-okay. All right, friends, we are so happy that you have joined us this morning. We are starting a new series, Rediscovering the Joy of Christmas, starting today with episode 1. So you picked a great Sunday to tune in or be here with us. We are so happy you're here. We're kicking off worship with a shout-out question. What is one thing that brings you joy during the Christmas season? Go ahead and shout it out or type it online.
Coffee.
Lights, coffee, cookies. I'm in agreement. I love ginger chocolate chip molasses cookies.
Sparkly holiday wear. I like sparkly holiday wear.
Sparkly holiday wear.
Yep.
Oh, I'm loving it. I'm feeling the season. Well, we are going to start our worship with our great worship band singing Let the Praises Ring. So please stand up and dance and raise your voices with us.
Let's sing that verse again. This new series is about joy, and so we're going to sing Joy to the World. Join with us as we do that.
To the world, the Lord is
Thank you, God, for this amazing band. You may be seated. This morning, we are so happy to welcome our kids in worship for family worship. Hey, kids. So if you want to get up, move around, and dance, we're totally cool with that at Sycamore Creek. Aaron, what are some other ways that we can connect this morning?
Well, there's our connection card. If you would like to pull that out and start filling it out with the information that you feel comfortable on the front, keep it handy because there'll be lots of good things to think about with that as well. You can do your SCCMI selfie. Oh my gosh, ready? All right.
Nice. Okay.
That looks like
now
a
one
winner,
of
just
everyone
saying.
else. All right. Super great.
Good stuff. Yes, go ahead and put that and tag it SCCMI. I think we're making dreams come true here at Sycamore Creek because young Sam wanted to be selfie of the week, and ta-da.
Look at
there
this face,
he
though.
is.
How could you say no? Right? And we also had this lovely moment in worship last week where we had some new partners joining us with Mikkel and Matthew. Yes. Oh, and this beautiful prayer. Yes. Oh my gosh. So we wanted to include that as well.
Yep,
It's
we
gorgeous.
got it.
It's gorgeous.
So thank you for being here. You all look gorgeous in your selfies, and our message begins with this.
Weeping may stay all night, but by morning, joy. I will turn their mourning into laughter and their sadness into joy. Let me hear joy and celebration again. I have said these things to you so that my joy will be in you and your joy will be complete. When they saw the star, they were filled with joy. Do not be afraid. We bring you good news of great joy for all people. Joy. Rediscover the joy of Christmas.
Mikkel, I don't know if you know this, but my family, we love to go on road trips for vacation. We love to pile into the car, have some clear expectations for how we're going to spend our time together, have some podcasts maybe, lots of good snacks. We get in the car and we love to drive somewhere. This past summer, we went to Wyoming and to Colorado.
Wow,
And over the course of our trip, we spent over 60 hours in the car together.
that's a long time.
60 hours in the car together. I'm sure some of people are hearing that right now and they're a little bit horrified. Like, that is crazy. And I understand it's different, right? But my family loves it. We love the excitement of going somewhere. We love that time together in the car, driving somewhere. It's different. It's not for everyone, but it works for our family. And the different can be a really good thing for us. I'm curious, how about you? Does your family have something that you do that's maybe a little different but works for your family?
Yeah, so in general, our family is like a little bit more of the stay-at-home kind of family. But it's weird because we also like to go to amusement parks, which are kind of the opposite of that.
That's not staying home.
But we will go to like the same place over and over so we can kind of get to know the ins and outs of that particular place, which might not sound that different, but I'll just give an example. When we were in North Carolina, Busch Gardens, Williamsburg, the one in Virginia, was only like 3 hours from us. And so we'd get the summer passes and kids under 5 were free. Bonus.
That's good.
And we were not the kind of people that would like be there at opening and stay till close. Like we'd also leave early. Like,
Okay.
like we'd leave wanting more, right? So that then
okay.
we're not like staying so late that everyone is losing it and frustrated, and then we have a 3-hour car ride ahead of us. We want to get to know the place so that we don't have pressure to be there or stay longer than we should, and we leave kind of on the early side.
Yeah, so it's like an incremental thing where you like dip your toe in a little bit each
Yeah,
time, but never like
And that way everyone can
much.
kind of get acclimated and used to it, and there's an anticipation. So when we're going, it's like, oh, this is where we're going, and everybody knows it, and everybody's excited, rather than, wait, what is that? Are we sure we want to do that? So that's how we do. So turn to someone who's next to you or put it in the chat. What's one thing that you or your family does that's a little different that brings you joy?
Oh, I love hearing all the conversations and the kids' voices joining in as well. Gretchen, you said you had something that your family does differently around Christmas.
But I have to tell you, I just learned about all the techniques for getting a snow day from your daughter, so
Right.
I'm going to try that next time.
You have to like wear your pajamas
It's
like backwards and
Yeah.
inside out. Yeah.
So what my family does, this is a tradition that my mom started long before I was born, is we have this one book that we read every year at Christmas, and it's called Mr. Willoughby's Christmas Tree. It's a really good book about how his Christmas tree is too big, so he had to cut off the top, and then somebody else got it, and they cut off the top, and then somebody else, and somebody else. Yeah. So it's a really special book, and now I read it to my kids, and it's just a really special memory. And I know like it's very unique to our family.
Is it the same book?
Every year.
Well, yes, the same story, but is it the same book that
I
you're...
actually still have that book,
Okay.
but I bought a fancier, nicer one to read.
The legacy edition.
Yes,
right, of
exactly.
course. Of course. That's fantastic, and I love that everybody had something different to say. Our message continues with this. Let's watch and listen.
So Mikkel, today we are starting a new series called Rediscovering the Joy of Christmas. I'm really excited about this series. We're going to be taking a deeper look at the Christmas story and the joy that we find through that. And this series is based on a series originally given at Church of the Resurrection by Adam Hamilton. The stuff we're talking about today, it actually originally comes from a guy named Gary Hardin. We're using the message to bridge us from our last series, If Money Talked, into this content for Christmas today, where we're going to be talking about rediscovering the joy of Christmas.
Yeah, it's so exciting. So let's talk about joy this morning.
So we're going to get into all the complexity and the nuance of joy throughout this series, but we have to start somewhere. And when I think of joy and I think of the Bible, the first place that I think of is Philippians. And when I think of Philippians, it's this letter that Paul writes. We're taught he wrote it from a prison cell, and it's this letter that's just suffused with joy. It's filled with joy, and it's a joy that Paul is sharing with the people at Philippi, but it's also a letter where the people at Philippi also seem to have some joy through the interaction they have with Paul and his ministry.
Yeah, and through their financial giving even. And we're heading into a Christmas season that's not always suffused with joy, but sometimes it's just like filled up with stuff. Like there was a viral image of a woman who gave her kids 85 presents each.
That's so many.
Like, I can't even wrap my head around like the stuff. Like, where does that all go in your house?
And that you wrapped all of them.
It's so much work. We're going to be inundated with advertisements and pressure from our family and our friends and just the people around us to fill this time with stuff. It's supposed to be the happiest time of year, but all these messages about stuff just kind of creep in. Like, I've seen almost every year. It's funny, when we were talking, you and Tom had not seen this, but almost every year, multiple times a year, I see this social media thing about giving your kids 24 books. One book for every day leading up
The whole season of Advent.
to Christmas. Yeah, and I'm like, well, I love books,
Yeah.
but that's a lot of books. And where do they all go?
Especially for your family.
No.
24 books per kid.
That's so much.
Yes.
Like, I give my kids one book a year usually, and still I'm like, every year, oh my gosh,
books
there's
everywhere.
so many books. Like, if we're not careful in all of that, it's really easy to make it all the way through the Christmas season, all the way to January 1st, and like, realize we actually didn't have much joy. We just had pressure.
We just gave everyone a bunch of challenges at the end of the If Money Talk series, but we have one more challenge today.
One last one.
And I think it's a challenge that a lot of people are up for because it's not a new challenge. It's a challenge that we've been giving people regularly every year for the past several years around Christmas. It's a challenge related to Christmas and our Christmas offering. And it's a challenge about celebrating Christmas differently and finding the joy of celebrating differently. And the challenge is this. The challenge is to give away as much as you spend on Christmas.
This is my first Christmas season
It is.
here with Sycamore Creek. And
Yeah, welcome to it. Welcome to the challenge.
Like, I know there are probably other people who are also here for the first time, and like, maybe like me, they're feeling a little anxious. Because at this point, my oldest son is 13, or I think he will be, but like, he turns 13 next week when we're filming, but whatever, yeah. And so we have some traditions that are hard to break. We have like things that it's hard to change those things. And so when we're talking about giving half of our Christmas budget away, what do we mean by that?
So when it comes to Christmas, most of us think of Christmas giving as gift exchanges. So we give something to someone, they give us something in return, and there's this like trying to match the gifts so that like they're appropriate and kind of on the same level from one person to the next. And let's be honest about what that is. That's not really generosity. It's a gift exchange. So several years ago, we issued this challenge as a church, and the challenge is that whatever you would spend on those gift exchanges, whatever you would spend on Christmas parties, things like that, that you would spend an equal amount and just give it away. Now, what we mean by that is, so say your Christmas budget was $500. Rather than just $500 for gift exchanges, you'd also do $500 where you give it away. Or say your Christmas budget was $200. Rather than just $200 for gift exchanges, you'd give $200 away. And what we've encouraged you to do as part of that is the part you give away, well, one of the places you can give it away to is Sycamore Creek's Christmas offering.
So this sounds great, but also kind of difficult to just start doing. Like, do you have
It
any
is.
recommendations for where people could get started?
Well, for some of us, it could be what I just presented. You had a certain amount in your budget, and you just double it, and you give that much away. But for most of us, that's not what we can do, right? And this is where you get into the difficulty of navigating traditions, like you said, because it might mean that if $500 was our budget, we need to somehow reduce our gift exchange amount to $250 so we can give away $250. And that's going to take some work to figure that out.
So this is a really different way to celebrate Christmas, and it will take some time, like we've said, to embrace. So take a step this year, take another step next year. And it kind of reminds me of like we're celebrating Jesus' birthday here, right?
Jesus' birthday.
Jesus' birthday. It's not my birthday. I
It's
do
not
like
my
to
birthday.
celebrate my birthday, but this is not what this is about. And so these are some ways that we can look outward to celebrate Jesus' birthday through generosity. So what we're describing is a way of taking the attention off of ourselves and putting it back on Jesus to celebrate Jesus. And I think we could all agree that probably one of the best ways to celebrate Jesus is to think of others and to be generous to others.
Absolutely. And there's a joy in doing that, in giving to others. And yeah, I think the central question that we're going to answer today about living differently is, have you discovered the joy of celebrating differently this Christmas? The joy of celebrating differently.
I mean, giving is different. The joy of giving is different. So true giving without expectation of return is really countercultural.
It is.
It really is. So, like you mentioned before, we're not talking about gift exchanges. We're not talking about like, all right, what are you giving? Like, help me gauge. Like, I'm trying to kind of match. I don't want to give you a $50 gift. You're giving me a $15 gift. Like how many times? And that can be exhausting. Like the mental hoops that we jump through for that. They're just exhausting. This kind of frees us up from that.
It's totally exhausting. And one of the things, I think, we live in a me first culture, and that becomes even more prevalent around Christmas time. And the problem, I think, is when it comes to giving, for a lot of us, it just becomes one more thing that we have to do during a busy Christmas season. And we totally miss out on the joy of giving during Christmas. So today we're going to invite people to something better, to a joyful Christmas that involves giving, celebrating differently.
So we're going to do that by looking at some of the ways that we can give differently this Christmas season, ways that we can become a more joyful people, more joyful person. So we've presented the challenge. And now we're going to get into the why that we do this. Like, why is it that we think that this is a good idea? And then at the end, we're going to talk about the specific way that we're inviting people to give through the Christmas giving challenge and how that affects us at Sycamore Creek and all that kind of stuff.
So let's start with why celebrating differently and giving this Christmas brings us joy. So first, giving revives our concern.
So going back to Philippians, which we mentioned earlier, the church there in Philippi had taken up an offering to support Paul, who was in prison, and that's where he was writing from. And Paul wrote back and expressed his joy to the church there. He said, "How I praise the Lord that you are concerned about me again." So Paul rejoices in the generosity of the church there in Philippi. And
He does.
I really do appreciate the New Living Translation, the one we just read. It's pretty easy to read. It's pretty easy to understand.
It's a helpful one, yeah.
Yeah, but sometimes it's helpful to check out some other translations. And so that phrase, concerned about me again, it has a Greek word in it that actually means revived.
Ooh.
And I think that can give us a little bit more kind of depth to that. So the New Revised Standard Version translates the verse this way: "I rejoice in the Lord greatly that now at last you have revived your concern for me."
I really like that idea of revive. It sort of brings to mind to me right now a plant or a tree that's barren. It's not officially winter yet. It's not officially winter until December 21, which is maybe a little
Liam says it's ridiculous, by the
Yeah.
way, that it's snowing. And
That is a little ridiculous. But things are pretty brown right now. We're in the brown season, right? Like the trees don't have leaves on them. The plants and the shrubs and stuff are in the ground. You can't see anything. But next spring, the trees and the plants are going to bud, and they're going to leaf out, and they're going to blossom, and they will grow. And in the same way, the church in Philippi had been brown and barren, and now because they gave, because they were generous, their concern is revived. It's like a new shoot is growing up out of them. With the gift of money that they sent Paul, there's a blossoming, a reviving that's occurring of their concern for Paul.
yeah, giving revives our concern because giving takes the focus off ourselves and puts it on to something or someone else. Giving is joyful because it's tangible. It's a tangible way that we can express our concern for someone.
And giving is so powerful because it allows us to see beyond ourselves and beyond our stuff. And that brings us to our next question for discussion. When was the time you experienced the revival of your concern through giving your time or money to a person or cause?
Yeah, so many good thoughts. I loved our conversation of here, Erin, and something that really convicted me in the past couple years was going through the core racial equity workshop, the Congregations Organizing for Racial Equity, which was a weekend workshop and was very powerful. I highly recommend for everybody to participate in one of those at some point, because it's just informative and convicting and amazing, and definitely it changed so much in my heart, even that I wasn't expecting. What a wonderful thing to do. But something that I was very convicted during that weekend, thinking, oh, well, what is one way that I can contribute? What is one way that I can do things? And something that came up a lot in the different things that I was a part of was the Last Prisoner Project, which is reducing or freeing people who have been convicted of nonviolent crimes, who are no longer illegal crimes, and writing to them and supporting them. And that was something that I felt was bringing me closer to Jesus and bringing me closer to things that were important to Jesus. Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool.
I encourage everybody to find something like that, definitely. Let's continue with our message.
So when we focus on the needs of others, and when we give to help meet those needs, there's the joy that we experience in the midst of that. Giving revives our concern for people, and in turn it brings us joy.
And giving also teaches us contentment. And we need this during the Christmas season, because our joy, it doesn't come from stuff. It doesn't come from gathering more things. It doesn't come from our money. You know, Paul is writing to this church and he's celebrating their generosity, but he also makes it really clear that he's not celebrating their generosity because he needs more money. That's not where his joy is coming from. So let's look more at what Paul had to say to the church in Philippi. How I praise the Lord that you are concerned about me again. I know that you have always been concerned for me, but you didn't have the chance to help me. Not that I was ever in need, for I have learned how to be content with whatever I have.
Paul had learned how to be content. And well, for most of us, this is not a season of contentment. And whether it's gifts or stuff, or even if it's like the expectations we have for time with family and for how that might go, it's really easy to go through this season and to not be content. But Paul had found that, and listen to how he continues here in Philippians. I know how to live on almost nothing or with everything. I have learned the secret of living in every situation, whether it is with a full stomach or empty, with plenty or little, for I can do everything through Christ who gives me strength. Paul had learned how to be content with whatever he had, and I don't know about you, Mikkel, but that sounds really good to me, to be able to live that way. Paul had found joy in life not because of how much money he had or because of what his circumstances were. It wasn't about how nice his house was or him having the latest phone or a nice car. He found his joy in contentment. He learned contentment.
And we've probably all heard about contentment, right?
Yeah, we have.
But have you thought about the word content? So the Greek Stoics talked about being content as being self-sufficient.
Okay.
Like having all of your needs met. But that can't really be what Paul's talking about here, because he's also talking about not having enough food, right? Not having enough to eat and not having all the things that he needs. And so, like, that's not having a need met. That's not being self-sufficient. So he's got to be talking about something else. When Paul talks about contentment and that sufficiency, it's not a sufficiency that comes from himself. It's not internal to Paul. It's a sufficiency in Christ. Paul believed that whether you were naked or clothed, hungry or full, whether you had what you needed or you didn't, if you had Christ, that was enough. And that's real contentment.
That's a powerful thought. And it's also echoed by the writer of Hebrews who wrote, "Don't love money Be satisfied with what you have, for God has said, I will never fail you. I will never abandon you. We're all going to experience the pressure this Christmas to find our joy in stuff, in material things, and particularly to focus throughout the season on what we don't have. And the problem with that approach is it leads to and it develops chronic dissatisfaction within us. And chronic dissatisfaction will make it seem like we never have enough, whatever enough might be for us.
This reminds me of a story of an older woman who had spent her whole life like downsizing and like getting rid of the things. I mean, clearly I have some things, you know.
Just a couple things.
Just a few Christmas things. And she had a neighbor move into the house next door, and he's like got every electronic gadget and all the things and all the furniture and all kinds of stuff.
Yes.
And she's just watching him move in, and she calls out to him, "Hey, neighbor, if you find that you don't have something you need, let me know. I'll teach you how to live without it."
Oh my God. Didn't see where that was going.
Mm-hmm. Contentment is not really about giving up our desires. Contentment is about living with a sense of the adequacy of God. Is living with a conviction that God is enough for every need that we might face. I mean, this Christmas, we're going to be facing relationship needs. We're going to face financial needs. We're going to face stuff needs, right?
We are.
And this is a sense that, like, in the midst of all of those needs, God is enough for us. We can give and find contentment. We can give, and when we give, we find joy in the midst of that. Because we know that God will supply all of our needs. We can be fully content through our relationship with God. Celebrating differently this Christmas by giving teaches us contentment. And giving also makes us partners in ministry. Partners in ministry. That should be a familiar phrase for anyone who's been around Sycamore Creek. I'm starting to get the language. I'm starting to get, all of that. We don't have membership at Sycamore Creek. We partner together in ministry. And we get this idea about partnering in ministry from Philippians 4, where Paul concludes in verse 14, "Even so, you have done well to share with me in my present difficulty." So the church in Philippi had sent Paul a financial gift. And Paul says they've shared with him in his present difficulty. And that word for share is really similar to our word for fellowship.
Oh, interesting.
And the word involves partnership. So Paul is tirelessly doing God's work, and he's making that connection that through their financial gift, they're partnering with him in that ministry.
They're together.
Yeah, they're partnering with him to advance God's kingdom.
In God's kingdom, rights are made wrong.
In God's kingdom, there's justice for the oppressed.
In God's kingdom, there's enough for those who have little.
In God's kingdom, there are relationships for the lonely.
In God's kingdom, there's hope for those who have despair.
In God's kingdom, there's joy, because there's a joy in partnering with each other to do this work.
That's fun.
It's a joy to partner with other believers to advance God's kingdom.
And one of the ways we can partner with one another in advancing God's kingdom is through the Sycamore Creek Christmas offering. We're there. We made it back again. You've probably heard the phrase, the biggest bang for your buck. It's a very common phrase. You're looking for the most features and the most value, right, for the least amount of input that you put into it. And I'm not going to overstate this and say that the Christmas offering is the biggest bang for your buck, but it does definitely give us a bigger bang for our buck, because when we join our resources together, they go so much further and they make so much more of an impact. We're able to do all sorts of things over the next coming year because of this one offering that we receive. It's pretty amazing.
The Christmas offering goes toward care ministries, local mission, and global mission. And so now we're going to chat about this for a minute. Which part of the Christmas offering gets you the most excited? Care ministries, local mission, or global mission?
Erin, you are alive with the excitement of the Christmas offering.
Well, we were talking about it, and
Yeah.
you said something that just really struck me. We know where it's going.
We know where it's
We
going.
know where it's going. So
Yeah.
I live for the gas giveaway every year.
Yes.
My tummy loves that we have barbecue at almost every event. Dr. Mir had my
Local
heart the minute I met her, and she feeds children in Nicaragua. But my favorite, being an educator, is that we support so strongly and thoroughly the teachers at Mount Hope STEAM School. So I
Yes.
love that so much.
Yes, and in Potterville schools at our Potterville campus as
that's
well.
right.
So that's like local missions is based on around the campus that you're giving to. So if you're giving, to the Christmas offering in Potterville, that's going to go to Potterville schools. If you're giving to the Christmas offering in South Lansing, that's going to go to South Lansing schools and the global missions and the care ministries.
And overall, that we know there's no secret. When you give to Sycamore Creek, you know exactly how you're helping.
It's been pretty
Love it.
transparent. Yeah,
Love
I'm
it.
a big fan. Well, we've got one more segment of our message, so let's continue to listen and worship.
So Mikkel, let's take a closer look at these things that the Christmas offering goes toward. These are really critical things that help us to accomplish, as we said, a lot throughout the next year. And we'd love to have people partner with us in the mission that we are going to accomplish this upcoming year.
Yeah. So as you know, I've just finished up my listening tour. And one of the things that I heard over and over is how much people appreciate the Christmas offering, and like seeing the way that like the money that comes into the church, it goes out into the community. It supports people in the community. And so they know that it's not just like staying in the church. There's something really meaningful and powerful about
Makes
that.
a difference.
So I'm really excited to talk about this for a little bit and for people to really see what is happening with this money that we're gathering through the Christmas Challenge. So first, our care ministries, they make a huge difference in our communities in Potterville and in South Lansing. So part of that impact is made through Tom Fox, our Sycamore Creek Church care pastor. We pay Tom's salary through the Christmas offering. Tom not only cares for people in our church through things like funerals and hospital visits and just kind of general pastoral care, but he also cares for people in our community through things like rent assistance, gas, and like all kinds of material
Lots of different
needs.
things
Like
he
he
does.
coordinates all of that. It's really pretty amazing.
It is amazing. Tom Fox is a huge asset to our church and to all of our campuses, including our new Eastwood campus. And I think one of the ways he's so helpful is he helps us manage the giving that we have in directing it to help people who have needs. And I've personally experienced how amazing Tom Fox is. He's gone on vacation before, and I get left to fill a need. And there's a lot of work that goes into it. We don't just hand out money to people. We make sure that it's directed towards a specific need. And there's some checking in that has to happen with that. If someone needs assistance with rent, we don't just pay them the money, we pay it to the company that they're renting from. And to get all that coordinated and to match it up, it's a lot of work. And Tom Fox does a wonderful job of making sure that we're using this money to help care for people in ways that are effective. And with some of that assistance that we provide, particularly with something like rent assistance, it's the difference for a person between having a home and being homeless. And that's a huge difference in someone's life, huge. Now, all those things that we just talked about, those fall under the category of care ministries. Thank you for your giving to the Christmas offering that allows Sycamore Creek to care for people.
And the Christmas offering also helps us to reach out to our local communities in mission. So I'm really excited to experience in
Me too.
2023, like the full year of all the things that we do.
It's gonna be amazing.
It's really exciting. So like at South Lansing, we're going to have opportunities to grow and develop our relationship with Mount Hope STEAM School. So through that partnership, we support teachers and their work through the Christmas offering. We've had cupcakes for the teachers. We continue to build and develop our relationship with Ash, who's the owner of the Marathon gas station. And we'll continue to do a gas giveaway to mark the beginning of Lent.
Yeah, on Fat Tuesday.
Fat Tuesday. And reaching out in local mission also helps continue to do the work of anti-racism in our communities and working toward racial equity, which is such an important part of this local mission.
For the Potterville campus, we're continuing our relationship with the Potterville schools. Each year we do a back to school bash where we give away hundreds of free backpacks filled with school supplies. This past year we gave away over 120 backpacks to kids in the Potterville School District. We also provided every teacher with a gift bag filled with things like Kleenex and Clorox wipes and hand sanitizer and stuff like that, just basic supplies for their classrooms to help meet that need. We also continue to build and develop relationships with local businesses in the Potterville area. Like, we do a free car wash each year for Maundy Thursday as part of Easter week. We also kick off the season of Lent with a gas giveaway on Fat Tuesday or Mardi Gras or whatever we want to call it. That really blesses our community and makes a difference and helps us to partner with those local businesses.
And these are just a few of the things that we've done in the past year. And so I get really excited about what's coming in the future. And as we add on, like the future Eastwood campus, I'm excited to build on the history that's already there, right? So like Asbury United Methodist has this history of the tiny pantry where there's non-perishable food items for anyone who's in need. They have a Thanksgiving food box giveaway. And they have the community garden. So these are things that are already there, and then they're just going to be developed over time. And I'm just like, it's really exciting to think and dream about where that could go. So thank you for partnering with Sycamore Creek Church through the Christmas offering to reach out to local communities.
Finally, our Christmas offering has an impact through global missions. Sycamore Creek is a United Methodist church, and each year through the Christmas offering, we're a United Methodist church. We don't wear it on our sleeve, but it is there. We are a United Methodist church, and each year through the Christmas offering, we partner with our United Methodist church, particularly through our ministry shares, to have a global impact around the world to share Jesus with people. Now, sometimes that means just talking with people about Jesus, but for a lot of places in the world, sharing God's love with people is helping them in some tangible, physical way, whether that's through medical attention or through clean water or through housing or whatever it might be, to help people to improve their quality of life. It's a way that we share the good news of Jesus with them. Our Christmas offering also, a portion of it goes to Dr. Meir to sort of undergird the program that we're supporting Dr. Meir with. Dr. Meir is a doctor in Nicaragua. She feeds over 50 kids a week. 50 kids a week in Nicaragua.
Wow.
And the amount of money it takes to do that is it's not actually that much, but it makes such a huge impact. That's all happening through the Christmas offering.
So as much as we're able to accomplish here in the United States, there are huge needs in other parts of the world too.
There are.
And your giving to the Christmas offering makes a tremendous impact all over the world. And part of that is because the bang for your buck, like, it's just greater in other parts of the world. Like the dollar goes further, it stretches more, and more people are impacted because of that giving. So thank you for partnering with Sycamore Creek to make a global impact through the Christmas offering.
Through all of this that we've talked about today, there's a real joy that is available to us this Christmas, a real joy. And I get it. I know that this season that we're entering, it's really difficult for many of us. So we'll be talking about that more next week in the message on joy in the darkness. And yet I think a concrete step that we can all take toward experiencing more joy this Christmas is to celebrate differently by giving.
When we take that Christmas challenge and give away as much as we spend, we'll find that our concern is revived and we care about others this Christmas season. We'll find a greater contentment through a season that's marked by not enough. Like, it's a season that's marked by not enough and what we don't have. We'll be partners in the mission of Jesus, this baby that we celebrate at Christmas, who would grow up to teach us and heal us and give his life for us. Celebrating differently at Christmas is ultimately impactful because it points us to the center this Christmas season. God's love for us shown through the person of Jesus Christ.
Let's rediscover maybe for the 40th time, the 50th time, the 60th time, the joy this Christmas of living differently.
Well, we would love to continue to connect with you as we celebrate the joy and rediscover throughout this series and focus on Christmas. And one way that we can do that is through our connection card. This isn't like a pass or fail thing where you're gonna like get a good grade in coming to church. This is like, we want to connect with you. We want to be better friends. So put whatever information you want down here. There's a section on the back with some next steps. If you're online with us, you can head to sycamorecreekchurch.org/connect. You can fill out prayer requests, and there will be a team of people ready to connect with you and pray with you and support you, which means the world sometimes, means a world of difference sometimes. And you can also sign up to serve. So there's connecting, there's growing together and praying together, and there's serving. You can be a greeter, one of those awesome people that you come into the building and they hand you like this rad flyer for the Christmas together and this awesome connection card, and you're all like, okay, somebody said hi to me, and church is like nice and warm and fuzzy, and that could be you next week. You could sign up today. It's super easy, right? Today's the last day for Compassion Closet. What is Compassion Closet? Well, that's household items that we want to give to people in need in our community. This is one way that you can partner in the community and give to people who need household items like deodorant or toothpaste or paper towels. Everybody needs that stuff. And if you didn't bring one today, you can just like go to the store right now and just like come back and we'll still be here, right? Right? Yeah, totally. No, in all seriousness, you can contact the office if you can't get it in today, and we'll figure something out. Or you can just donate to Compassion Closet. All those things are an awesome way to participate in Compassion Closet. I know, I teased this a little early, but it's the Christmas season. You may have gotten this awesome flyer when you came in today for our Christmas Together. Flip that bad boy over, and on the back, you've got an awesome schedule with all of our Christmas events on it. Here they are on the screen as well for all you friends online. What you need to take away from this, I know it's a lot. You look at this and you're like, how many of these things can I reasonably circle without losing my mind? It's all going to be fun, okay? It's all going to be fun. And it starts Saturday, December 17th with a Spirited Christmas at Sanctuary Spirits. That's our first event. And it goes all the way to our Family Christmas online Sunday, December 25th, and even into tubing at Birchfield Park on January 8th. So you've got lots of opportunities to connect with your Sycamore Creek family, to bring a friend. I know that next step on here was start thinking about who you would like to invite to one of our Christmas services. Well, I know I got to look at this and compare my calendar and be like, okay, who's coming to what? That's my next step. You can give to Sycamore Creek at sycamorecreekchurch.org/give, or give your offering in the blue buckets on your seats. Your giving makes everything here possible at Sycamore Creek. We talked about the Christmas offering during the message today to partner with our care ministries, local mission and global mission, and you can start giving to that today if you want, or plan how you're going to spend for your Christmas. We have a testimonial from a family in Potterville talking about how giving to the Christmas offering has impacted their life. Let's watch and listen.
I'm Erin.
I'm Jeff.
Erin and Jeff Cobb.
So we've been going to Sycamore Creek since about maybe September of last year.
We did give to the Christmas offering because we were really challenged by the idea of giving as much as you spend, and we've never done that before. And we really liked that when you told us about it, that you also told us specific ways of how our money was going to be used, both locally and globally.
Yeah, and it was also because we were kind of new. You know, we'd only been coming here for a few months, so it was a good opportunity for us to like kind of fully jump in and become a little bit more committed. Last year we participated in the Easter egg hunt, and our kids had a great time, and we met a lot of people there. It was a lot of fun. We did the pumpkin giveaway, and that was really cool too. In fact, we got lots of pumpkins, and kids carved them, and it was really fun.
And we like how our kids can be involved as well, so they learn about what it's like to serve the community.
I really think we've been challenged. Like we both like to be generous. That's one of the things that kind of draws us together, and it's really an opportunity to kind of really put our money where our priorities are. Like we really value the local church. We value being part of a community. and it allows us to do that.
One of the things that drew us to Sycamore Creek was the values of curiosity and compassion and creativity. And we really feel like this provides a way to be creative in our giving in the community, and obviously being compassionate and recognizing that there's tangible ways to help that our kids and us have been able to be a part of as well.
I also think that like the older I get, the more I realize that being part of a church is more than just coming on Sunday morning, and it's also about like going out into the community, and I think this really reflects that.
Wow. Thank you to the Cobb family for that awesome video. Yeah. It really makes me want to like change how I'm doing Christmas this year. We have one last shout out question before we turn to our awesome band. What is one item that you would like to rediscover in your house this holiday season? Something, maybe some gremlins. You go ahead and shout it out. Come on. Don't be shy. Okay, pieces from the nativity set.
My
I hear
bedroom
that.
floor.
Your bedroom floor. Yep. All right. Well, let's stand and sing with the band as they lead us in Enough.
So we learned that the letter to Philippi, he was talking about contentment and being content in Jesus. And so we're going to sing about that Jesus is all that we need.
All of you is more than enough for all of me, for every thirst and every need. You satisfy me with your love, and all I have in you is more than enough.
Well, thank you again for worshiping us this morning. Join us next week for our episode 2, Joy in the Darkness, of rediscovering the joy of Christmas. And until then, stay curious, be creative and compassionate, and peace out.